and welcome back. For this session, we have Professor Agnihotri with us, and I welcome Professor Agnihotri on behalf of all of us. Before starting the session, I think some of us know him very well, but before starting the session, I would like to take this opportunity to give you a brief introduction. So Professor Agnihotri was heading the linguistic department at University of Delhi, and currently he is faculty at Vidya Bhavan Education Resource Center based in Udaipur. He is interested in and has taught and written extensively about applied linguistic research, morphology, and sociolinguistics. He has lectured in Germany, UK, USA, Canada, Yemen, Sri Lanka and Pakistan, among other countries. He has also been working with several NGOs across India in the area of elementary education, and he was also chair of the NCERT focus group on the teaching of Indian languages during NCF 2005. So, Professor Agnihotri. And he is my teacher, the teacher.
This room is particularly unsuitable for conducting a workshop. Okay, so please forgive me. I think they should have made some better arrangements where we could, sit in groups and, I could go back, which I will anyway. But this is not. This is good for Babu conferences, but not for us. Okay. That's the first thing I wanted to say, so that in future, all of you will have to conduct teacher training programs. So I think this is very important that you keep in mind the infrastructure facilities. They should be very flexible, should be movable for people, and they should be particularly such so that the facilitator can disappear and merge with the background rather than sit here, like this. I never do that. I mean, people will tell you. Number two, I think many of you know me in the sense that we have met in other workshops, and we have interacted. Some faces are very familiar. I may not remember the names, but I'm sure there are friends from the Northeast who I may not have met before. But we always have a large number of students from Northeast in our department. We used to have, always, and they were always some of the best students. We also have, our department also specializes in Northeastern languages, in terms of, the second thing I hate about this is technology, because it's more disturbing than helping, it's always disturbing. So that's another thing you should keep in mind. As you become teacher educators, do use technology, but also learn to work without technology, with paper and pencil. I could do all this on a laptop and overhead and things and, with slides, but I know the electricity will break down. I would request you to switch off your mobile phones. If you have important job, you can leave the room. Sir, can you switch off your mobile? May I request you to switch off your mobiles? If you cannot switch off, then, I'm sure you have important things to do. This workshop is not important, believe me. I mean, I'm not going to move the earth. Nothing is going to happen. But I can tell you that very important people like Manmohan Singh, very important teachers like Krishna Kumar, they function without mobile phones all their lives. So it's not important. It's not that important. All right. Having said that, in due course, I'll meet you thrice. So we will have about 8, 9 to 10 hours to know each other. So I'll get to know more people. Because if we go through individual introductions, which is what we normally do, but we do that in a group of 20, 25, 30, it's probably will take a lot more time, and I won't digest a lot of things that I want to digest. So let us start with the kind of focus that we have for these 3 days. That means this afternoon, tomorrow morning, and 11th afternoon. Those are the slots that I have. So tomorrow morning Padma Sarangapani won't be coming, I will be coming. Okay, and I'll come at 9:30, I'm told. Between 9:30 and 10 we will start with the feedback. What I would like to start with is that in the area of language and in the area of communication and in the area of reading and writing, for example, I think that is the focus, reading. What kind of things you would like addressed? What is uppermost in your mind? What kind of questions are uppermost in your mind? What is it that you would like to know? What is it that you would like to reflect on? I'm not going to lecture anyway, because I hate to lecture. So I have lectured for 40 years. I don't want to lecture anymore because it doesn't lead you anywhere. But I would certainly like that we engage in a dialogue. For these 3 sessions there is a kind of dialogue among us, and that I and you and mutually we benefit from each other. That is the sort of overall structure that I have in mind. For that it is very important to know, for me and for you, what is uppermost in your mind. Okay, so can we start with that people would sort of open up and say what kind of things they would like done. Yeah, so I'm going to sign off and wait for you. What I want you to say is that concerning language, that's number 1, because we are going to talk about language.
Concerning concerns regarding language teaching or language in general?
Language in general. And language teaching, I can't decide. You see, we may say, look, this is not the focus of this. No, wait a minute. We may finally decide, look, you may say, what about the kind of language Amitabh Bachchan speaks, or Shah Rukh Khan, who is better? I may say, okay, look, I don't know enough about these 2 people, so let us keep it out. But language in the field of education, okay, language in the field of teacher education, language as communication, language as writing, language as reading, right? Is that becoming clearer?
Sir,
right.
I'll just tell you that this schedule, this was in my mind that maybe this workshop helps me to improve my skills, improve my communication skills and comprehending skills. This was what was in my mind. So but
Do you have any idea how this timetable may have been prepared, or who may have prepared this time?
no idea at
No
all.
idea. So I'll give you the idea.
Okay.
You see, these timetables are prepared in MHRD, right? Some people sit together, what shall we put in this slot? So they put something in that slot, which is good, and they do their best. Obviously they do their best. But what I'm saying is, I am more interested in trying to understand what is there in your mind, right? Is that a legitimate question, or am I asking an illegitimate question?
No, it's more clear now.
Right. So I think I'm asking a legitimate question, that what are your concerns? If you think I'll teach you how to talk in America in 3 days, well, I'll tell you, thank you very much, go somewhere else. I cannot. You see, you have lived a lifetime, learning English and teaching English and using English. I am not going to change I can give you some examples, but I cannot, and particularly the kind of, okay, I'll come to that, but anything else. So let us stick to the schedule. What kind of things you would like to say? Okay, I understand, and I'll talk a little bit about that.
So, principles of language learning, particularly at the while teaching the primary school children. And another thing, problem is in the tribal.
My processing skills are a bit slow, so please.
The
Yeah.
principles of language learning,
Okay.
particularly for the primary level children.
Okay.
And second thing is particularly I am from Odisha. In most of the schools of Odisha, we have seen that there are tribal children, or there are also Tamil Telugu children. So in a multilingual context,
Yes.
from children from Odia background. So in some schools, particularly in the southern Odisha, you will find in a class there are children from 4 to 5 language backgrounds. There are Telugu speaking people, there are Odia speaking people, tribal language speaking people. So what type of input should how the teacher can handle such children for their language learning? Thank you.
Very happy. I would like to ask if there is anyone sitting here who knows of a classroom which is different from the one he described. You know, he described a classroom of children of, let's say, 45, 50 children. In our classes, we'll have much more. Is that a typical classroom or is that an exceptional classroom? That's a typical classroom, right? That's a typical classroom, and all of you probably for the first time in your life may be surprised to see that nobody at MHRD, nobody at NCRT, nobody at the University of Delhi asks this very fundamental question. Have you seen anyone asking this question? The standard paradigm is, what is the standard paradigm of education transaction in our country or in anywhere in the world? The standard paradigm, if you don't follow, raise your hand. Huh? If you don't follow my English, which is quite possible, you see, I am, for a variety of reasons, because of my accent, because of the words I use, you may not understand. Just raise your hand. I can speak Hindi. Huh? The standard sort of model, okay, if you don't want to understand the word paradigm, the standard model of teaching in our country or anywhere in the world is one teacher, one class in this kind of structure, right? One textbook, one language, all of which is against the facts. The facts of the matter are very different, as he described just now. So we need to ask that question. Okay? Thank you. I am very happy that you raised that. Okay, who else?
Sir, over the years, sir, I have been thinking that for teaching languages, especially to small children, really there is need of any textbook? Do we really need textbooks to teach languages to children? Many a times because ever since when you go through NCF and all, many things come in your mind, many reflections come, and most of the time I think that are these textbooks really needed to teach language to children? I think if you can discuss upon this.
Very good. Thank you very much. You see, now you are coming out. Earlier you were saying we don't know what you're asking. Now you know what I'm asking, right? Now for the first time, you see, the whole country, believe me, the whole country, along with us, including our team sitting there, Vidya Bhavan team, all of us are busy writing textbooks every day, language, Hindi, in a state like Assam, or nobody from Assam, huh? Anybody from? Yeah. In a state like Assam, textbooks are written in 9 languages. Am I right? Yes. 8 or 9 languages, maybe, yes, maybe you know that. And, imagine, the amount of effort. And here is a very legitimate question. Do we, particularly at the primary school, do we really need a textbook? Or should we be doing something else? Okay, what else? Tell you the fact that I am requesting you to raise these questions does not mean that I'll answer them, right? Because I may not know the answers. But I will certainly struggle with them along with you. Okay, along with you I'll engage. I'll try to sort of, try to do whatever best I can do. That does not mean that I'll give you a pudiya, bolo ram or muh mein dal de. Aisa kuch nahi, huh? Yeah.
Sir, yes, sir. We have developed 9 languages. It's about 64 books we have to develop. So far, the national policy education speak to provide education through their mother tongues. So it is difficult. That is, sir told that. So in a one class is a multilingual situation. The teacher who does not know the language of the children. So it is difficulty in case of Assam also. We have Hindi, we have Nepali, we have Garu, we have Mar, we have Marwari. So many kinds of situation is going on.
Here is another assumption of that model, that teaching cannot take place unless the teacher knows the languages, all the languages of the children. And this is a very funny assumption. It is impossible. This is impossible to happen. So then we have to think of a model, which accommodates those languages without the teacher knowing them. And nobody tries to think of that kind of model.
Actually, the assumption is not that a teacher should know all languages. Rather, it's an essential condition. Rather, I won't say assumption, that a teacher must know the language of the child, at least in which the child understands. So that is the basic requirement. This is rather what I view. I heard that you asked that you talked about the standard model of classroom. Rather, I would say that the kind of classroom that you described, one teacher with 40 or 50 students in this pattern of sitting, can we say it as most that is most frequently seen classroom? Maybe it's a question of semantics. That is the way I interpret and the way you have used. Yeah. So see, no, traditionally means, see, you may refer to a classroom model, maybe of say 50 years before, and traditionally mean see, over the last 20 years, at least say 10 years, the pattern of classrooms in at elementary and secondary schools largely in elementary classes has changed. So the standard model of classroom over the last 10 years and the classroom that we think of, the way we describe, that is mostly based upon the didactics, goes back to 10 years back. Over the last 10 years, the style of teaching teachers used to, that coming to the front of the class and delivering lectures or explaining or discussing or giving some sort of example on a particular concept or the topic he or she is dealing, that was the usual style of classroom transaction. Over the last 10 years, the classroom pattern has changed. In elementary classes, at least in my state, that is in Odisha, you will see that children are sitting in groups, in somewhere in a U fashion, and sometimes individually, and in small groups they are working. Of course, this is a question to with what effectiveness actually that work is being carried out. I would agree, but the classroom pattern is changing. That is what I want to say.
I agree with you that post NCF, post DPEP, there has been some attempts, particularly in Odisha, with the MLE programs. There have been some attempts made, and we can talk about them. But let me tell you, they have been fairly unsuccessful. And why? We will talk about it. Because they do not ensure any response to the question that was raised by this gentleman here. They do not ensure how languages of different children will find space in that kind of classroom. And they do not ensure what will be the nature of what is standardly called activity-based joyful learning. Right? This is the phrase everybody uses. Right? Activity-based joyful learning. Painful. Learning is not joyful. That also you will realize, because as we go through a certain process, you will see that it's not, there is a lot of joy at the end of it, yes.
But we have to put in efforts.
Yes, right. You see, singing and dancing around activity children do in the street. They don't need a formal classroom for that kind of work. Okay, before we start, any other issue? What is the trouble? What did he say? Which? So it's almost saying that, look, people with dialect are sort of subhuman. They are non-human. People with language are human. That's what he's saying. Do you believe that? Yes or no?
Sir, in replying to this query, have you ever seen a man without language?
Yes.
Answer would depend on the way we understand language. If we understand language.
Another dimension which we have never thought. Okay. Let us assume that we have sorted that out for 1 minute. And I will sort that out for you. Let us assume. Then, what is your answer?
If I understand that symbol system to convey ideas, express ideas.
No. When I say language, it means full-blown language as we are using it here.
Here, that is, I understand is that words, sentences, and all this. Then I would say that there are certain, dumb children.
No, you are not listening carefully. I did not use the words and sentences. I use the word language.
That's why I said
which communicates.
my answer would be different.
Which communicates to full extent. And then I am raising the question, have you seen a human without language? None? Yes?
If I confine language to the language that we people are using, may it be Hindi or English or any other, that is the spoken language with words, sentences, etc., then I would say the person who is blind and dumb from the birth itself is a man without language of this sort.
And what about if I speak in Spanish and it doesn't communicate to you?
Whom we very stupidly call deaf and dumb. I mean, this is almost a crime against humanity, to call them deaf and dumb, and I'll explain why. Anyway, let's add to this list. So, obviously, sir sees some problem with people who are visually impaired, or who are, let us say, 100% blind. There is so much audience sitting this side. Please speak up.
Sir,
Yes.
I want to know what are the good techniques of language teaching.
Yes.
एंड सर की एक पुस्तक है भारत में अंग्रेजी की स्थिति, उसके विषय में कुछ जानकारी चाहता हूँ.
हाँ, उस पे आएंगे सर. मतलब कुछ कहीं से तो शुरू करना पड़ेगा ना. तो we are starting with language, basic some issues about language. It's difficult to cover the whole ground, but I want to build up a very basic understanding about language so that we can, move ahead, right? That's the idea. And I think this is the right beginning. So can you think of, the question is whether language is constitutive of being human. You see, emotions, feeling nice, feeling good, laughing, smiling, my fingers, my ears, my eyes, they are constitutive. They are a part of being human. So is language part of being human? That's what I'm asking you. So two categories have been pointed out where there seems to be some kind of problem. Is there any other category?
Sir, in case of language,
Yes.
sir, we have to respond. If we have to respond, we have to listening first.
Yes.
Because the organ should be action and it's functional.
Yes.
Then we have to, the responding we have to speak.
Yes.
If I got the meaning, how we communicate want to say, if I got, then
No,
I have
what
to
you're
reply.
saying is that there is a problem here. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
That's what
This
you're
some
But there is no problem with visually impaired. Or is there a problem?
There's
Okay.
some
So let's
Bedeli
cut
type of
let's
language.
cut this problem short. Let us understand that we will come to language, dialect and variety later on. Okay, that's a big issue. But the first thing is that let us understand that no human being except the cognitively deficit, except the child who is mentally injured, right, who has an injury on the left hemisphere, except that person, nobody is without language. Language is a universal property of being human. It is constitutive of being human. Is that clear to everyone? Now let us sort out these two categories. We can leave out only one category, that's all. And that category is the category of a person who is cognitively deficit. Do you understand cognitively deficit? That he or she is mentally retarded, so much retarded. Normal mental retardation doesn't stop language. But severe mental retardation, deficit, injury here, that's why you must have seen that you are driving on a motorcycle, you are perfect, nothing gets hurt, you fall on the ground, but you get hurt here. That's all. Small injury here, and language is lost. Nothing else gets lost. So, in the left hemisphere, in the temporal lobe, this area is called the temporal lobe. So, this area, the front temporal lobe on the left side, if the injury is here, generally speaking, 99%, you lose language. Or something goes wrong with language. Okay. But the visually impaired have no problem. They can hear, they can speak, which is the primary function of language, and they are perfect. They have no problems. And they can also read and write. All visually impaired people, in fact, you will be surprised to note that I have many friends who are 100% bright, 100% blind, and they read and write better than I do. Do you understand how? At least ask me how. Braille is a matter of bygone ages. Now you have a laptop. Please, you are going to the famous University of Arizona, so you should know these things. That now, and you will come back here, and MHRD will call you back, right? And they will ask you to work as teacher trainers, teacher educators. You will be working for persons with disability, children with disability, right? All schools have to be, disabled friendly now. So you should know that it is very easy to freely download a program called JAWS. the computer, and just take my word, I can tell you 100 stories, but these people read very fast, because JAWS you can download and you can say, I want to read page 24 of Romeo and Juliet, and the computer will start reading page 24 of Romeo and Juliet. Okay, and then you speak into the computer very fast. You want to write an essay, and it will produce an essay and give you a printout. And I hope you also know that once upon a time we used to have only one copy of the Braille book, this thick, right, in the library, and every blind student used to use that book. Now Braille printouts are printed with an electronic Braille printer like photocopy. So you fire 100 photocopies like this, you get 100 photocopies. You fire 100 Braille printouts, you get 100 Braille printouts. So nobody is language deficit.
Sir, regarding JAWS, I'd like to make a comment.
Yes.
Which is again related with accent and phonetics and pronunciation.
Yes.
Many a times when I, sometimes use some sort of software, maybe on Google search by, when I try to do it by my voice, if I say something. So I struggle because software writing, it's designed on a standard.
You're right. You're right. We are coming to that issue. That's a very crucial issue. The issue that you are pointing out and the question that was raised here they are connected, and they are very crucial. We'll come to that. And you should go to Arizona with that kind of background. That I don't want to do petty essay writing things with you. I want to do these basic issues, so that you go there as enlightened people and come back more enlightened. And some of these things people in Arizona may not know. Let me tell you that. So you will go better prepared. Okay, what about the second category? Because the standard argument is, how can they have language when they can't even hear? Sign language, which is what? No, is it different from English and French and German?
No,
and Hindi?
It's not different.
Does it have grammar? Or is this sign language? Is this sign language?
Yes.
You see, while I was talking to you, I was moving my hands, right? Is this sign language? These are body gestures. These are technically called paralinguistic features. This is not sign language. This is not sign language. Sign language is exactly like, this is what I was trying to tell you, sir. Sign language, because so-called deaf and dumb are born with this faculty intact. So instead of Spanish or German or French or Hindi or Gujarati or Marathi, they learn sign language. And sign language has a lexicon, that means it has a dictionary, and it has sentence structure, it has a grammar. So if I want to ask you, is it clear to you? Do you understand me? Then I'll do this. This is sign language. This is the sign for asking you, is it clear to you?
No, sir.
Sorry?
I raised if all of us want that we should proceed ahead in our discussion, then my question I will suspend it for later discussion with Professor. Or if you all agree, then I will. See, I gave an example of a child who is deaf and blind from birth itself. What I apprehend, and there are lot of studies, that this such a child may survive, may grow to a person, to adulthood, and the sign or symbol or gestures, because the two organs that helps the child to internalize the language system from the environment, is disabled. So I apprehend that such a child cannot acquire all these. Therefore, accepting only, but I don't think that how this is possible, that either the gesture system for communicating or expressing ideas, or the other, that is this formal language, is acquired by such a child.
Talking of a child who is both blind and deaf. If you are talking of that kind of child, that's a different matter. That's a different matter. I don't know how many studies of that kind have been done, but I think that child may not have any problems in acquiring Braille eventually. But it is also possible that he or she may not be able to learn. But I think that child will have the language faculty. I don't know what kind of studies you are referring to. Can you give me the reference of such a study? No. Okay. So then we need to think about it. So that's a question for me also. I'll come back to you and tell you. But I'm not aware. For the time being, I'm not aware of a child who has both these problems. Okay. And that's a very important issue that has been raised. But if you are only hearing impaired, or if you are only visually impaired, it is not a language barrier. So let's be clear about that. Okay. And sorry? Yeah, it's a question of multiple disability of specific language kind. Okay. Otherwise, multiple disability doesn't mean anything. You may not have both the hands, right? And you may be completely visually impaired. You will get language, right? You may not have anything below here. You may be completely paralytic below your neck. Believe me, completely paralytic below your neck. But you may be deaf and dumb. You will get language. So language is constitutive of being human. I mean, this is the point I want you to understand. Unless you are cognitively retarded, unless you are cognitively deficit, language is constitutive. Is a part of being human. So that is one basic issue. Is that clear? Can we go ahead? Okay.
Sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
You know Hindi, sir. I think.
Yes.
One Bihari said that आकृति चेष्टा भाव अरु बचन रूप अनुमान नैन सैन मुख कांति लखी मन की रुचि पहचान. Sir, I would like to say that its explanation in your language teaching. I want your explanation. This saying that आकृति चेष्टा भाव रूप वचन आकृत चेष्टा भाव और वचन रूप अनुमान नयन सैन मुख कांति लखी मन की रुचि पहचान. Yeah, yeah. I want your expressions. Yeah.
It's altogether the language learning.
Okay, thank you. What I am saying is that if you have any one of them. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Now, the second important issue, I think, which relates to the difference between language and dialect. Okay, I think that's very fundamental, because, people have this idea, and, present company is always accepted. We don't count, because present company is intelligent. Okay, the present company. We're talking about other people. Okay. But most people believe that there is a fundamental difference between language and dialect. Am I right? Or am I wrong? Do you agree with this? Is there anyone who doesn't agree with this statement? I'm making a statement. Most people agree, most people maintain that there is a fundamental difference between language and dialect.
Sir, again, I am not a language expert, but what I can understand by my general understanding is that maybe dialect is part of language.
would you then, for example, say that Avdhi, Bhojpuri, Maithili, Maghai is a part of Hindi? Or more metaphorically, Avdhi, Bhojpuri, Maithili, Maghai are daughters of Hindi?
Yes, I
Yes.
suppose I can say.
I mean, it's so nice to say that. And she, of course, doesn't realize, she comes from UP, that Bhojpuri, Maithili, Maghai and Braj are mothers of Hindi and not the daughters of Hindi.
I never wanted to get involved in
No,
mother
then-
and daughter. Again, I
then-
said I am not a language expert.
wait a minute. It's not daughter and mother important.
I just
No.
wanted to say part. Nothing.
When you say part, then
Yes.
you are using something very important, which is this. Whenever you use this of, that means there is a relationship of something being superordinate and something being subordinate.
Yes, yes. Sub
Right?
and subset,
Right.
something like
So,
that.
right. So what do you mean? The greater set is Hindi and the smaller set is Avdhi, Bhojpuri, Maithili? We are in trouble. You see, the question is that we are in trouble. We need to get out of that trouble. Okay? We need to get out of that trouble if we want to move on. Okay. So if all of you believe that, as I'm saying, not that you people believe that, then things become difficult, because then people start saying, this is not what I meant. This is not what I meant at all, like Shakespeare, this is not what I said, or T.S. Eliot, this is not what I said at all. I meant something else. I didn't mean, I was not talking about daughters and mothers, I was talking about something else. So let's talk about other people. Other people believe that there is a fundamental difference between language and dialect, right? So what is the difference? Language has grammar. Very good. Yeah, like that, you should speak like that. So, yes, I know. You're talking about other people. You're not talking about yourself. You believe otherwise? Huh? What do you believe? Okay, then no. We want to say what. We want to figure out what is the difference. That's the point.
Sir,
Huh? Dialect has grammar. How many people believe that dialect has grammar? Oh, now he is in trouble because he says Maithili has grammar.
sir, I am even in bigger trouble because
I'm sure you are in bigger trouble. What happened to our friend
sir,
who
because
was,
now I don't understand what
wait a
actually
minute.
is language.
There was a friend who was disoriented. She has disappeared.
Sir, the point is that now I don't know what actually language is. Let me tell you that
No, don't worry. We'll come to that. We'll come to that, and you will go home, a little more satisfied. But as I said, it's not activity-based joyful learning. Yeah, you have to do this, You have to do this again and again and again. It's painful. It's painful.
So, sir, please, before beginning with language and dialect, please tell me what is language.
You see, this is the basis, no? There are no easy solutions. There are no easy solutions, believe me. Anybody who tells you there are easy solutions, he is fooling you and himself. Whether here or in the United States, if people tell you here is a package, take home and implement it, don't get fooled. Your professor is here from Arizona, I'm sure he won't tell you that.
No, he has told on the very first day that we don't have any mantra to offer.
There is no mantra. See, I wasn't.
No answer. Tell me what language is. No, that's not the way it works. We have to figure it out.
That's right. So, you see, so we are not sending you to Arizona to come back with mantras. Because India is full of mantras itself, we have plenty of mantras. We don't want more. Mantras we export to America. We no more mantras.
I'm going to be in the import business.
Yes. So what is the difference?
Sir,
What is the difference?
I'm not very sure, but what this is my understanding. Language and dialect has grammar, but in case of language, it is more organized, more available in a very formal and rather organized.
Right.
And
Very good. So there is a question mark here. You have given a very good answer. Madam, you left. We are trying to get oriented. No, that's okay. That's okay. That's fine. I'm sure you had. No problem. So we were here. I'll repeat for you. We are trying to understand the difference between language and dialect, because most people believe that there is a difference, and it is written. It is written in every textbook of Bhasha Vigyan. It is written. There is a difference between language and dialect. Bolanath Tiwari, if you read Hindi people and various other books. And then we said for you, some people said that language has grammar, dialect does not have grammar. But then people immediately said there is a question mark, dialects also have grammar. And I think then Sir came with a very polished kind of answer, which I think is accurate, which says, no, he didn't say organized. You see, the only difference is, I'm giving you the answer now, the only difference is that the grammar of a language, so-called, has been written and published. The grammar of the so-called dialect has probably not been written. That's all. That's all. There is no other difference. But it certainly has grammar. Okay, and we will see. Because if you say that dialects don't have grammar, then in today's milieu, you will have to say that whole of Ramcharitmanas is ungrammatical. Because Ramcharitmanas is written in Sanskrit और हिंदी में तो नहीं लिखा है ना. Ramcharitmanas is written in, not in a dialect, it's written in Avadhi language.
Avadhi is the dialect of Hindi.
Again, Avadhi. How is?
I feel.
Why? Why? How? On what basis do you feel that Avadhi is a dialect of Hindi?
Sir, let me try a little.
Yes.
In my experience, language is a medium of communication, which is a composite of signs, symbols, script, and dialect. And dialect is the way of a particular language spoken in a particular language or particular region. No. Dialect is a part of the language itself, but a particular language can be spoken in, you can say, local dialects. Like Hindi can have a, you can say, local. No, it's not my.
In terms of area. That language is very widely spoken, whereas a dialect is locally spoken. Am I right?
no, then
Often use the term local dialect.
Huh?
We often use the term local dialect of
No,
Hindi.
it's not a matter of the term you use. The question is, what do you understand? What is your understanding? I can also use the term local language. The question is that there is an image in our mind, there is a general public image that language is widely spoken and widely understood. Standardized language is widely understood and widely spoken, whereas dialect is spoken in a very small pocket. Now, my question, where do you think is standard Hindi spoken? And where is standard English spoken?
It is spoken by the native speakers.
Of course.
For that we should actually know that what do we mean by standardization. Like the standard of a meter is set. We know what actually 1 meter is. It is defined.
Yes.
So in terms of language also, do we have any such standardization?
I'll make it simple for you. Let us say that language as it is codified in Oxford English Dictionary, in the case of England, language as codified in Oxford English Dictionary and in Quirk's grammar is the standard language.
Again, sir, we hear American English now all the time. When we have to give some option on computer, also on internet, also when we are trying to read some website, so
Anyway,
they ask me.
So do you want to take the position that there is no standard English?
No, sir. They ask me, do you want American English or do you want British
yes,
English?
I know.
They ask me.
Yeah. Very soon they will ask you, do you want Australian English or Indian English or New Zealand English? They will have to ask. It is not that computers will automatically switch to American. I mean, that time is going to pass. But you see, let us assume that there is something called standard. You see, you cannot dismiss this issue so easily. Because, why? Because newspapers are published in a certain style. Books are written in a certain language. Universities teach in a certain language. So you cannot dismiss this. NCRT will write books. Supreme Court issues orders to NCRT that please use the following list of words. So you cannot dismiss that. The question, however, what can legitimately be asked is in the context of this big and small, large area and small area, where is standard English spoken? Either American or Australian or British. Yes. The standard British English is spoken in an area of 10 kilometers, period.
Officially, in official documents also, most of the time we use quite standard language.
Yes. But spoken, I said. Spoken except for Oxbridge, the Oxford area and the Cambridge area, except that you will find as you travel north, you don't have to go to Scotland. You see, the standard question, for example, asked about English in England is this, right? All English teachers hear this. Right? Do you know this? Huh? Do you know this problem? No? About English? Huh? What is the question?
Why BUT is good and why BUT is
But,
bad.
right? Why this is an U, right? Why this is an U and this is a why? People don't realize that actually the moment you sit on the train and get out of, London and move towards Yorkshire, for example, bus is not a bus. Bus is only a bus. A cup is not a cup, but nobody will understand you if you say bus. People get on the bus. They don't get onto the bus. 10 miles outside, south of England. Similarly, standard Hindi.
Sir, I was in, I think, Midlands and we used to speak foot and butt only.
No, you might be speaking.
No, other
You might be speaking. No, but there might be other differences. There might be other differences. As you yourself said, Scotland is very different.
That difference I could experience.
Right. So you can experience Yorkshire. You won't be able to understand. I can speak Yorkshire. Much before Midlands, you won't be able to understand. Nobody will be able to understand. All of you know English because you are following English. But if I now switch to Yorkshire English, you won't understand. Do you want me to switch? Huh? Do you want me to show? You and I say Yorkshire English, I'll be speaking something nice. Stans, go and stans, head. Do you understand that? You won't be able to understand. And this is standard, quote unquote, standard Yorkshire native English. You want to hear it again? It's for you to figure out. I only say stands because Town said. Maybe he has figured it out, but I don't know about the rest.
I think I'm already complicating them with American.
Okay, so you should expect such differences there. You know, when you go there, you know, when you, for example, go to America, you will find, you should be mentally prepared, and the Americans who are going to meet you, they should also be mentally prepared. No, really, because you know, when you say, you know, make a move, you know, people sort of say, oh, acha, you want me to move a little. And where you don't say in America, you don't say where is the lift. If you ask people where is the lift or where is the petrol pump, you know, there are no petrol pumps there. There are gas stations, you know, to the best of my knowledge. People talk of gas stations, you know, you talk of, there are hundreds of such differences. You have elevators, you know, you have a lift here, but he has an elevator here, right? Or the lift man is called what? What do you think he is called? The person who operates the lift? Lift operator. No. So you will find, you see, there will be, I can assure you, there will be hundreds of such words.
We don't have lorries, we have trucks. We don't have biscuits, we have cookies.
You see, the first time, believe me, the first time Don Taylor from Canada, University of McGill, came as a teacher, faculty, you know, I was much younger like you, to talk to us. In the evening he said, where could I get some cookies? And you know, I am looking for a juicy steak. Do you understand? Does anyone understand what I'm saying? Huh? No, biscuits you know. Biscuits you know because of him now. Okay, but do you understand what a juicy steak means? Huh? Does anyone understand what a juicy steak means? What? It's beef. It's basically, he was looking for a, you know, I didn't know. So you will come across hundreds of such new expressions, you know. So you will have to adjust to them, and similarly they will have to adjust. But the most important thing is, please, I mean, I'm telling you this about communication. The most important thing is not to hesitate, not to stop articulating. Use whatever language you can, use whatever gestures you can, whatever accent you can. Don't sort of hesitate and kill yourself. Okay, you might starve if you keep doing that. Okay, all right. So it is important. Can anybody give me any other reason that we should make a distinction between language and dialect? In fact, if you think about it carefully, Avdhi is spoken over a much wider area. Bhojpuri is spoken over a much wider area than so-called standard Hindi.
Language has a large number of speakers, whereas dialect has less number of speakers.
No, on the contrary, dialects have many more speakers than a standard language.
Yeah, but language is in other area also.
Which other area? I asked you, where is standard Hindi spoken? No,
Hindi is found even in Mauritius.
No, Hindi is in Mauritius this much.
Yeah.
This much. It is there, yes. But Bhojpuri is also spoken. Bhojpuri is spoken in Trinidad. Yeah. So, you know. So there is actually, so I want to cut this discussion short. Actually, there is no fundamental difference between language and dialect. The only difference is that you pointed out, the only sensible definition. I miss the people who raise these questions, you know. They should not. Now, what is her name? Samreen. I don't know who will, huh? Because the only, good, she's back. The only meaningful definition that has been given of both language and dialect is that, it is the most, in this context, the most meaningful definition is that a language, you can write this down because this will be useful for you. A language, because it's only one line, so you won't get tired. A language is a dialect. A language is a dialect with an army and a navy. That's all. That's all, really that's all. That means if you have money, if you are elite, if you are rich, your language is called standard. If you are poor, then your language is called a dialect. That is why the mothers of Hindi become the daughters. You know, Hindi was born out of Avdhi, Bhojpuri, Maithili, and it is the politics.
Why not sisters?
Sorry?
Daughter and mother, sisters.
No, Hindi was not there, so they could not be sisters. Hindi is not even 200 years old. You know, when people were writing poetry in Braj, it was considered to be below prestige to write poetry in Hindi, in Khadiboli. Nobody wrote poetry. Right? Surdas never wrote in Khadiboli. Wrote in Braj. The great poetry was written not in Khadiboli. The great literature, you see, even today the Hindi books contain what? Hindi books contain Kabir, Nanak, Meera, Surdas, then none of which is, either it is Avdhi or Bhojpuri or Maithili or Maghai. It is not Hindi. So this is the politics and economy of the language dialect difference. So army and navy are symbols, they are symbolic things. So you should know the same thing about England and about America. When you look at Texan English or New York English or California English, and then you will now see Arizona English, you will realize that they are very, very different. But then there is only one variety which becomes the norm, and that variety which will be used at MIT or at Harvard or at Stanford, or at Brown, becomes the standard language. These are the processes of standardization, which are very closely associated with being rich and elite and having power. So standardization, I hope that point becomes clear to you now. Standardization is actually a product of societal and historical power structures. That's it. That is why textbooks have to be written in that language, because textbooks are associated with power structures in society. Textbooks are not written for rickshawalas and sabjiwalas.
Sir, I just wanted to ask that are they essential for learning of language? They are written, but are they really essential for learning?
Yes, we are coming to that. We are coming to that.
And the second thing is that they don't have access to write their own curriculum or dialect or their language. Means rickshawala and other people don't have access to choose or create their own curriculum, own textbooks and other things. They have been grabbed by those who want to.
Who has access to do the curriculum and textbooks?
That elite person.
You see, actually, please understand, all those people who are so-called, this word is very popular these days, stakeholders. I'm sure, by the time you return from Arizona, all of you will be using stakeholders.
And we have also filled a form called Stakeholders Compact.
See?
I actually don't know what it's doing.
So these are, you see, new terminologies introduced. So stakeholders, all the stakeholders in transacting curriculum, textbooks and syllabi have no role in creating those things. This is the most unfortunate thing. Children, teachers, teacher trainers play no role. It is the university professors who will sit in NCERT and create. Some teachers are called, they are sent for Delhi Darshan. They put in a bus and they are sent for Delhi Darshan. They have no role. They are not consulted. Believe me, I have been a part of NCF very closely.
Not only the textbook, the syllabi or the curriculum, everything is decided by a very few. Also, the issues of the system, the issues of pedagogy, the issues of classroom is also perceived. The problems are perceived here and the answers are also resolved here. That's why the fate of Indian education system.
Yeah, I'm glad you realize that. Okay, we take up the next issue and then we will have some painful activity to do, right? Yeah. No, not too painful. Not too painful today. Okay. You see, so I hope, we have addressed very quickly. I mean, I will spend a full, month on these issues in my MPhil or MA classes, on issues of trying to understand what language is, what, variability in communication is, what language differences exist and why do they exist, how do they come about. But we have sort of summarized them very briefly for you here. Okay. The other issue we will like to address, the multilingual issue we will take up later as we go on, very complex issue. But understanding these is very important. So this was very important to understand that every child sitting in the classroom has a grammatical system in her mind, which is as good as that of Ambani's or Manmohan Singh or Obama or Rabindranath Tagore or Shakespeare. As good, as perfect,
Is it because of
as perfect a grammatical system as that Panini created in Ashtadhyayi.
Is it because of language acquisition device?
Yeah, because he or she has language. The fact that he or she has language is enough evidence that her or his language has everything that any other language could have had. It doesn't lack anything. Sign language doesn't lack anything. So I think this is very important to understand why and how to take care of a multilingual classroom, and how then for people like you to create teacher training programs and then create the English language teaching curriculum and so on, or other curricula that you may be interested in. The second question that you sort of touched upon was the issue of, and you were also asking, is the issue of language learning. I am sure all of you have answers to this. Can we briefly run through the answers? How does a child, first of all, do you think a child knows a language or languages before she comes to school? Right. So you don't need a school for language learning. That's simple. Right? That's fairly straightforward, that to learn a language you don't need a school. But we need a school for other things because we want them to read and we want them to write, and they have to read history. Okay, this is the other fundamental thing about language, that just as we cannot conceptualize any human being without language, we cannot conceptualize any knowledge system without language. No knowledge system can be conceptualized without, whether you want to learn history or chemistry or physics or sociology or environment science, it all has to be transacted through language. So that is the importance of language. Another reason why language is constitutive of us. That means language, in simple words, we create language, then language creates us. We are in that sense a product of our languages. Okay. What about this phenomena that how does a child learn? Child of about what age do you think approximately? No, setting for a child there is no formal informal setting. For a child there is the setting of the 2 months.
Let us think of a child in the...
You see, I am, 1 minute, sorry, 1 second. I am talking of a child who can talk to you, who can listen to you, who can listen to your conversation, and which means that, you
4, 5, 6. That is.
You think so? Yeah. 3? Huh? 1 year? अच्छा, हिंदी यहाँ सब लोग जानते हैं कि नहीं? हाँ? नहीं, I'm sure there are friends from Northeast. Do you know Hindi? No. No Hindi at all. How many people don't know any Hindi? So, that's okay. That's okay.
Excuse me, we understand to an extent, but when you really go into it, then we get lost.
No. I don't want you to get lost, so we will not use Hindi examples. No. Even if there is one person, I have to use another example. I have to use another example. But everybody is okay with English? Okay. So I want to ask you that a child, let us say, do you think, first of all, let's agree on this. Do you think that a 3-year-old child would say something like, let's say, no, I am sort of constructing sentences, something like that. She eats an apple, or something like that. You think she won't say she eats an apple? No?
Yeah.
A 3-year-old child won't say? Do you think a 3-year-old child won't say वो सेब खाता है? बोलेगा ना वो सेब खाता है. तो अंग्रेजी में बोल रहा हूँ इसलिए आपको अजीब लग रहा है. हाँ, she eats an apple, doesn't matter. She eats an apple. I ate an apple. They eat apples, something like that. Not exactly these, but sentences similar to that. Please write them down. This is the painful part. I don't write them for myself. I write them for you. Now, Now the mind-boggling part and the disorienting part. Now if a child speaks these sentences, and we all agree that a child speaks, because if I write the Hindi ones, you will immediately say yes, of course. So similarly the English also, or I could write actual data, tomorrow I'll bring you actual data which looks like this. If a child, I want you to think about 5 minutes, okay, then we will break for tea. No, you're tired, you don't want to think? After tea? After tea, she wants to think after tea. Okay, can you? Okay, but take these sentences, take your notebooks with you, right? And please don't waste your time on tea. Okay, spend your time usefully looking at these 3 sentences and answer the following question. The question is, if a child speaks these 3 sentences, what is it that she knows? What does she know? And remember that she does not speak just these 3 sentences. She speaks hundreds like this. Right? Hundreds of this kind. I am not talking of millions which are not of this kind. I am saying hundreds of this kind. ये आप लिख लीजिए सर, चाय इसके बिना नहीं मिलेगी. I will repeat the question because some people have just arrived. I will repeat the question. Please write down these 3 sentences, 1, 2 and 3. I ate apples. They eat apples. Okay. This child speaks. Please listen to me carefully. This child speaks. She eats an apple. I ate apples. They eat apples. Question. If a 3-year-old child speaks hundreds of such sentences, that means 3 into n. But I am not saying 3a into n. I could also add a sentence, she is eating an apple, but I am not adding that. I am only saying 3 raised to the power n. Why do I say n can be what? Huh?
It's a variable.
Yeah, but what?
Ranging from
1 to?
If you say 100, then it should be 3. Not 3, 4.
So we have 10 minutes. Chai aa rahi hai abhi. You see, what could be the value of n? What? Huh? All of you.
100 n.
No, for 3. For 3, what I mean is, huh? No, I am saying sentences of this kind. How many sentences of 3 is types?
3 types.
These are types. And I am saying sentences. This stands for sentences. Then n can be how much? How many sentences?
All possible.
One.
Only one?
All possible of this sort.
Huh?
All possible.
Yeah.
On this structure.
Yes. How many sentences of this sort? Infinity. So say that from 3 to
Based on this structure and pattern.
yes. So infinite number of sentences. So then my question to you is, what must be there in the mind of the child? Mind. What must be there in the mind of the child to be able to speak infinite number of such sentences? Then we will be able to answer the question, what is it that the child learns? And if we know, please this is important, huh? This is very important, because the question we are asking is, this is the question. Hey Rajni, this is the question we are asking. How does a child learn? What I am trying to make you understand through a activity-based joyful learning, I am trying to make you understand that what is it that the child learns? If we know the what, then we can think about the how. Okay. Even if the tea is not there, you can go out, reflect over these things in a relaxed way, have tea and come back. But I hope you come back with some solid answers. Okay? All right. So can we have some ideas if people have thought about it? I know it's too short a time. Normally one would give half an hour, for such a, but we are really pressed for time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Should I say?
Yes.
Yeah. By this time, when a child who is able to speak sentences of this sort, I'm sure the child knows the sound equivalent, the sound symbol of so many things and objects he comes around in his or her environment.
Sorry to interrupt you. You see, I don't want you to make general statements, and I don't want you to make give a long lecture. What I want is a very sort of mathematical analysis of these three sentences. That's what I want. So everything you say should be based on the grammar that would produce these three sentences, and therefore infinite such sentences. Right? Are you getting my point?
Yes.
You see, if I just let me give you an example. If I say, so I'm going to write these sentences on the side because I don't want the discussion to get lost. So the sentences were, what's the first sentence?
She eats an apple.
She eats an apple. And the second one?
I eat
Apple.
I eat apples.
I eat.
Eat.
I eat. Sorry.
I eat.
I eat apple.
They eat apple.
They eat apples. Yeah. Okay. Now what I am saying is that suppose I tell you something like a square minus b square is equal to a plus b into a minus b. Okay. And that's it. I don't have to tell you what is a, what is b, what is this, what is I don't tell you. It will work. Similarly, if I tell you that the square of the hypotenuse is the sum of the square of the other two sides, then I don't have to beat about the bush. So I want you to tell
Okay,
me.
exactly, I was coming to that.
Okay. No, not coming to that. Just focus on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then coming straight to these points, the child is aware about certain action words, I mean verbs. The child is also aware about certain noun words, and the child is also very much aware about how to join them, I mean constructing them in a particular order to create an idea or a meaning.
What?
Meaningful.
You see, you're not getting my point still. Is everybody else getting my point?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I want a machine.
I want to drop two, three things.
You said something. Yeah, actually, you said
the child has already grasped a construction of this sort subject plus verb and an object.
Now we are somewhere.
And subject
That-
verb agreement also.
We will come to that one by one by one. So, for example, the child has grasped, the child knows that there is a machine, there is a sort of, she has grasped this order. And imagine, which is, something which is quite possible in India, right, and happens all the time. Suppose this child were learning English, Assamese and Hindi at the same time. Possible, right? Or was learning, let's say, Hindi and English at the same time. Happens in Delhi all the time. What is the order in Hindi? Huh?
Subject, object, verb.
The order is subject. We don't take such children to hospitals and doctors. You see, a 3-year-old child figures out. You think the mother tells her? You think the mamaji comes and tells her? No. Nobody comes and tells the child that English is a verb medial language and Hindi and Assamese and Odia and Gujarati and Marathi and Angami and Ao, they are all verb final languages. They figure it out by themselves. So that's a very important point that the child figures out. Okay, what else? Because I want other people also to come in, not one person to answer. Yes? Huh? You see, look, again, please, I have to warn you. Please understand that all the grammar that you have learned till date is wrong. And you will realize it that it is wrong. Okay? So, yeah, tenses, yes, but what do you mean by saying tenses?
The actions taken in the particular.
As you write, she eats an apple. The other one is, I ate apples. So there is difference.
Child has figured out that what will be the form of the verb in the present and in the
Past.
Form of verb.
and she has connected this with
Yes.
time.
Time is a relative term.
Relative to what?
What has happened?
Time is relative to what?
What is going on? What has happened previously? What happened?
Who decides that? You see, the point
Present
is,
time decides about-
that this is, we make this construct, which is just continuous, and we decide the cutoff points, and according to those cutoff points, we decide which verb will go where, and Hindi functions very differently from, and Assamese functions very differently, Bodo and Angami and Ao and Nagamese, they function very, very differently. 1 minute, sir. So they figure out the tense of the verb, right? Yes, you're right, that way. Okay. What else?
Singular, plural.
Pronoun, singular, plural. Okay. They figure out, they have a sense of number. They have a sense of number. We see it in pronouns here, but we know. Do we see it only in nouns?
In apple and
So both in nouns and pronouns, they have figured out.
Yes.
Right? And will you agree, for example, I'm just making it a little more complicated for you. Suppose do you think a child will say this also? Huh? Do you think a child will say this also?
Yes.
Such words?
Yes.
A 3-year-old child? Not like this, but a child, no, child won't say cap, caps, but child would say, these are my caps. Where are my caps? And this is a cap. This is a nice cap, right? And, this is my glass. Right? The many glasses. Right? The child will know. A 3-year-old child will know.
Yes.
What does she know? Gender? She knows gender. What does that mean?
She's family. What is she?
Right. Mummy, Papa, yes. Do you think English has gender? Huh?
Not in terms of verbs. Feminine,
So English actually, you see, imagine, you should always imagine a child who is learning English and Hindi or English and Assamese together. You will understand what problem. It causes no problem to the child actually. Children don't fall ill. They have viral and fever, but they don't have any linguistic fever. There is every reason for them to have it, because English is a genderless language other than he, she and mummy, papa. There is no gender. But Hindi is a genderful language, and Punjabi is even more genderful. Changiya, changiya, kudiya, jandiya, paiya, san. It's sort of marked for gender all the way. पर हिंदी में भी कहना पड़ता है सुंदर अच्छी अच्छी लड़कियां जा रही थी, या लंबे 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 लड़के जा रहे थे. One second, let me finish. So do you agree that children figure out the number system? Right. If they figure out the number system, what have they figured out? I want you to write these. You're not writing. No, I want you to write these words.
Yes.
You have written? So, you see, you have to keep looking at them. So, what have they figured out? Yes. So, are you saying that saying cat, cats, saying cat, cats, and apple, apples, saying cat, cats, apple, apples, and glass, glasses is the same thing. Children who can do it, what have they learned? Okay. Has the tea arrived? Okay. Suppose I give you a word. I give you a word, pack. Pack? What's the plural? Packs. How do you know? Okay. Suppose I give you a word, class. What's the plural? How do you know? So there is something, the point I am trying to make is that there is something that you know. Dog, what's the plural of dog? What's the last sound? S. So are you saying dog S? What are you saying? What's the last sound?
Yes, dogs. Dogs.
Are you saying dogs?
Last sound is
No, you can say it with vowel, but tell me what is the sound. I am asking you, for example, let us say are you saying, so make the plural of both the words. यहाँ क्या जोड़ूं? No, I want to say the बहुवचन. Okay. Let's say book. What? क्या जोड़ूं यहाँ? तो books बोलते हैं. फिर बोलिए ना क्या जोड़ना चाहिए? हाँ? स. तो बोलिए ना स. तो इसमें क्या जोड़ेंगे? और इसमें? कैसे मालूम? That means there is something you know. Right? There is something that all of you know. There is something that a 3-year-old child has figured out. What has she figured out? कि यहाँ स लगेगा, यहाँ ज लगेगा. We will have to put s here. We have to put z here. और अगर ये हो तो क्या लगेगा? हाँ? यहाँ is लगेगा, यहाँ स लगेगा, यहाँ z लगेगा. What is it that the child knows? देखो जब when we understand this, only then we can ask how does she know? Mama पढ़ाती है. You know, Mama doesn't teach because Mama doesn't know. She cannot teach. You can't teach your children because you don't know. But all of you know this, and children figure it out. So we will come back to this after you have some tea and some orientation. Okay? So you go and have tea and come back. Okay? Yeah. Yes.
Not in this regard.
Yes.
Regarding the tense.
Yes.
In Ronald Prof Works English grammar,
Huh.
I read somewhere that there are 2 tenses.
Yes.
Past
Huh.
tense
Huh.
and non-past tense.
Yes.
Whereas in our system,
Tea session over. Okay, I think you have disoriented nights, you know, reflect over what happens. So what I want you to do is the following. I want everyone, so we will have some presentations tomorrow morning. Presentations of this kind. That what kind of grammatical knowledge can be subsumed? This is the question. What kind of, please write it down. What kind of grammatical knowledge be subsumed in the mind of a 3-year-old child, in the mind of a 3-year-old child, so that she can produce such hundreds of such sentences. She can produce hundreds of such sentences in not one but several languages. I'll come to that. I'll explain that part. So, for example, you will have to do the following. Each one of you has to do the following, because each one of you is either a bilingual or a multilingual. Am I right? Each one of you. Am I wrong in anybody's case? Everyone knows. You see, I mean, nobody even makes such guesses. And these are so fundamental to pedagogy. You walk into a classroom, you don't even think how many languages your students know. But I assume that each one of you is either minimally a bilingual or certainly a multilingual. Okay? So I want you to do the following. I want you to translate these 3 sentences into one language, into one more language. Take your pick, either Hindi or Assamese or Angami. What are the northeastern languages represented? Khasi and Mizo, Aro, yeah. Any other? And what is your language? Mizo. Okay. So you will translate these three into Mizo. So I want you to tell me, and I want you to imagine a 3-year-old child who is learning English and that other language together. So Mizo and English, Hindi and English, Bangla and English, Assamese and English, right? And I want you to present here that what kind of grammatical. So you will have to tell me. You will have to tell me tomorrow that what does the child know. That all of you can say. If I say book, you don't say bookies. You say books. But if I say cookie, then all of you say cookies. You don't say cooks. I mean, it's interesting, no? There is something that you know. When I say bus, for example, then you don't say bus. No. You say buses. What is it that you know that you say buses? So what you will have to do, you will have to make a list of at least 30 or 40 words and then make a rule. When do we say sir? When do we say the? When do we say is? And then wonder around 1 o'clock in the middle of the night that how can a child figure it out? You know, when to say sir, when to say the. You know, a child who can't hold a cup, how can she figure out when to say sir, when to say the, when to say is? And what happens in Hindi? What's the plural of seb in Hindi?
सेब हिंदी है उसका प्लूरल पूछ रहा है सेबी बहुत सेब मेनी एप्पल बहुत सेब उस सेब का तो प्लूरल समझिए
लड़के एक वचन है बहुवचन? लड़का एक वचन है और लड़के, तो लड़के ने खाना खाया, बहुत सारे लड़कों ने खाना खाया। हाँ? तो हिंदी में 2-3 बहुवचन होते हैं।
नहीं सर, क्या होगा? उन्होंने कहा वो सही है, लड़कों ने खाना खाया, लड़के खाना खाया।
नहीं तो लड़के बहुवचन है या लड़कों बहुवचन है? लड़के ही बहुवचन, तो 2 बहुवचन होते हैं।
नहीं, 2 नहीं होते।
2 नहीं?
नहीं सर, 2 नहीं होगा,
2 नहीं। संस्कृत में 3 हो जाएं तो लोगों को परेशानी नहीं है, हिंदी में 2 हो जाएं तो परेशानी है। खैर, ये सब आपको थोड़ा सोचना है। इस सब के बारे में रात को बैठ के सोचें, कल इसके बारे में बातचीत करेंगे। तब हम सोचेंगे, if this is what the child learns, then how does she learn? And if this is how the child learns, then what should language pedagogy look like? And what should teacher curriculum be for language? Then we can answer these questions. Am I right? Okay. But for the time being, ये थोड़ा दे सकते हो? हाँ, can you take one copy? Just give bundles around. People can take one copy each. जो बच जाए वो मुझे दे दें. page 3 which says text 3, you just cross it out, it's a repetition, it has been printed again. So just cut it out. Page 3, text 3. Just cut it out because it's same as text 2. So there has been an unfortunate wastage of paper. So I'm sorry about this. So this is the same. Okay. Now I want you to read page 1 and page 5. Can you just see page 1 and page 5 and understand what is to be done? Text 5, page 1 and text 5. Okay. So can you read the first page? Can you first read the first page? Yeah. No. I want you to understand whether it's clear. Is it clear? Okay, so I want you to attempt that. Please do not write your names at the top. You know, we are very fond of writing our names at the top. So don't write your names. Please don't, because in any case you will get a copy. So then when you go take it home, then you can write your name nicely, but not now. Okay. Is this clear? What you have to do? So can somebody explain? Take the mic and explain. Can you?
That we have to fill in the blanks. This thing or oh yeah. No, so what do you mean by explaining? Oh, yeah, we have to read this passage twice before we start filling up the blanks, and we have to fill in only one word in each blank. That's about it.
It's important that you understand. So read it carefully and then you do the same thing with text 5. Okay, then let us see how much time is left. So please, these texts are very simple. They are for class 6 or 7. They are actually not at your level. The more you look at each other, the more you try to copy, the worse it will be, right? So it's better to fill in what comes to your mind. Marks because you are doing it, because you know it's not going to be with you. So, what I mean is, don't be scared. I think these people are eager to throw us out. They were asking me when we will go out. Okay. When we will go out. What? Oh yeah, switch on. Okay. Now please listen what you have to do. Please look at me. You will give your paper to him at the back for everybody, and you will give it back, and you move it further. Keep moving to the next. Not the same one. Your give it to her. Yeah. And some, the whole thing. Because it's the same.
Without filling the fifth page.
Without filling the second.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. Give it back. And you give back. That's right. Aapne, will you please give it back? Hello, ma'am. पीछे दे दीजिए. हाँ बिल्कुल पीछे दे दीजिए. पीछे दे दीजिए, and then it should keep. It can keep. One should come back to you. Whichever way, everybody should have one, but a different one. एक आना है, एक आएगा भाई. हाँ, एक आएगा ना. Please take it. Doesn't matter, but you should not have yours. The entire sheet. You should have one. Where is yours? No, something should come back to you, na? Pushparaj, can you get it organized? Here, sir, take it. Okay. You have a copy? Somebody's, right. That's right. Good. So everybody has a copy? And not your own copy? Good. Okay. So here we go. ऐसे कर लो. Just switch with each other. Okay. So I hope you know this itself is a lesson in teacher education and pedagogy. That it doesn't matter really, you can use your own class students to evaluate scripts, very successfully and without hurting anyone. Okay, but this is a different kind of activity. Okay, so here we go. I am going to speak out the words, okay, and you put a tick, right, and there are 33 blanks, so you have to write at the top so many out of 33. That's all you have to do. 33. Their total is 33, and you just put a tick, and if it's a blank, then put a cross, right? Just put tick. Just putting ticks and then count the ticks. Is that clear to everyone?
The blank will be counted?
The blank will be crossed. Only the ticks will be counted. Okay? So there are 33 and I am speaking. The first one is I. You. Think. I. To. Had. Courtiers. Have. Honest. Once. Into. Out. Court. Holding. Dare. the sent बहुत जल्दी बोल रहा है, मैं एक बार बोल के दोबारा से बोलूंगा. Sent will today each your all Birbal I who Pearl A I courtier I A emperor your. Right? Shall I speak again? Okay. Here I go. I, you think, I too had courtiers, have honest ones, into, out, court, holding, dare, the, sent, will, today, each, your, all, Birbal, I, who, Pearl, A, I, courtier, I, A, emperor, your. Okay. I can't speak slower than that. So please count and tell me. Please tell me the. No. Don't worry about your own script, huh? No, kid, don't change the scripts. No. No, this is your script now. Don't worry, this is the same material. You will eventually get it back on the 11th, so you can see your own, Don't worry about this. Okay. Anybody who has got 33? Anybody with 33? Nobody. Anybody with 30? Nobody with 30? No, wait. Let me ask. Anybody between 25 and 30? 25? You have? How many? How much? Exact 25. Any? No, please let me sort out. No, wait. Anybody? Please, sir. Please. Anybody above 25? This is not. Nobody is going to get a prize. And nobody is becoming smaller or bigger. These are different issues we are going to talk about. Okay? So, the highest is 25, right? So, I want everybody to note this in the notebook. We can calculate the percentages. So, you calculate the percentages at home. How many people here? What's the total number?
51.
51 here? So we have 51 people, so N is 51, and the marks are sort of, so how many, raise your hands, 25, 33, how many? 2? 1?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, right? 3 people. 3 people. Okay. Between 20 and 24? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Huh? 11.
आपका नहीं, किसी और का है। नहीं, आपको क्या पता किसका है? 11 people, 20 into 24. 20 into 20, it doesn't matter whose. Please understand, we are talking about 51. These could be any 51. And this is actually the, you people represent this country. So, these are millions of teachers in front of me. So it doesn't matter. Don't worry about yourself too much. Okay. How many between 15 and 19? 15 and 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15, huh? Don't count equivalent कि ये भी चल जाएगा, वो नहीं चलेगा, जो बोला है वही चलेगा बस, हाँ? Okay. ये नहीं सेंट की जगह वेंट भी ठीक लग रहा है, वो नहीं चलेगा, वो नहीं चलेगा. Okay. How many people between 10 and 14? 10 and 14. 1, 2, my God, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8? Okay. How many do we have already? 47. So that means how many left? 4. That means 4 people.
Sir, not 47, rather 37.
This is 37?
Yes, sir, 37.
Oh yeah, 37. So how many people between 6 and 9? No, 6. Yes. 5 and 9. 5 and 9. 1, 2. 1, 2. That's all? No, we have to account for 50.
No, 2 persons are not here.
So, 49. 49, count करना 50.
Sir.
You are not being counted. You see, where
Sir.
are you? Huh? No, it doesn't matter. If you have other important things, it doesn't matter. But I thought you had. I mean, this was the primary purpose of being here. You have other important things to do.
46.
It's perfectly all right. As I said in the beginning, it's perfectly all right with me if people are getting bored, if they have other things to do. Please feel free to leave, but don't leave in between.
No, sir, we have to take the format of visa, just doctor is going to.
Sorry?
Stockholm form we have to submit for visa.
For visa. Okay, that's all right. That's all right. That's okay. That's fine. That's what I'm saying. If you have, I'm not meaning it as being, I'm not angry or I'm not being satirical. I really mean it. If you have something important, please go ahead. Don't wait. But try not to break the session. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
Sir, can I make a suggestion?
1 second.
If you
One
could
second.
do from the beginning. It's not coming.
49. So we have 49. नहीं दिया ना?
47 only, sir.
47. Okay. So how many we have here now? 39 हुआ ना? फिर भी कुछ. So that means how many less than 5? Less than 5. 1, 2, 2. Only 2? Less than 5? So something is missing, that's not nice.
So I think it will be better if we can do it all over again.
Yes.
If you started
So how
from
many,
the beginning.
How many who have 25? Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. But you also said 25. So 4. So raise it again. Why are you wondering? 25. 1, 2, 3. Again 3. Okay, 20 between 20 and 24. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There you are. Now I think it's all right, no? दो अभी भी कर रहे हैं. 15 and 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16. 10 to 14. You see, you know why I am doing this? It is important to do this. 1, 2, 3. How many times will you raise your hand? Only once. So that is done. Now I am saying 10 to 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, how many we have? How many we have now? Okay, so let us stick to 46. That's all I can do because I can't get my numbers wrong. So now you calculate the percentages and work out the table that what has happened to this passage, and we will find out, and if possible draw a histogram. If somebody can draw, you know what a histogram is? Yeah. So if you can draw a bar diagram and show it to us, because a lot of things will show from that kind of thing, right? And if we can we go on for 5-7 minutes, or we have to stop? Huh? We can. No, I am sure you can, but there are two other questions, whether I can and whether the people outside will allow. Okay. What was this all about?
Could it be?
You see, please listen to me. You have the passage still in front of you, right? Everyone has the passage. So you can't say I have lost my passage because the passage is still there. So do you think it's a simple fill in the blanks exercise, or was it something more?
It's to do with comprehension.
Yeah.
Comprehension of the English language.
Okay, even if it was simple fill in the blanks, it will have comprehension. No?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Very good point. Anything else? Okay, let me put the question this way. What kind of observations can you make about this? About something that you just now did?
Whether someone has proper knowledge of grammar, someone has
Sir, you are not, where is your copy? Look, you see, I mean, she probably said non-seriously that, science, this is more difficult than science. We are trying to do the science of language, because that is what grammar is all about. What you call grammar, or what we call linguistics, that is why it is called Bhasha Vigyan. We are trying to understand. So don't run away from the data. Don't run away from what you have in front of you. Keep looking at it, because there is something in it, right?
Yes. Now you can speak. So don't make, Ramdev style comments, It's not, ये कोई प्रवचन नहीं करना है यहाँ. प्रवचन नहीं हो रहा है यहाँ. मैंने आपको कहा कि we have to find out rules. Yeah.
So can we say the use of
You have to raise your
prepositions?
hand. Yes, okay.
Use of prepositions?
Yes.
Is that the proper use of prepositions?
So, are you saying only prepositions have been deleted?
Prepositions, vocabulary.
Very good. She.
One more thing I'd like to ask that.
What did you say? You see, the issue is.
So can I ask a
The
question?
issue is that you can also say geography. You can also say history. You can also say, sir, there is some physics also involved, after all. Let's not talk non-seriously. We are talking about the science of language. Now, she said that nouns are not there, adjectives are not there. So, the question to ask is, what is not there? Is it the case that, almost the whole of grammatical parts have been deleted and you have been asked to fill them? Pronouns, nouns, adjectives, adverbs. That is the question to ask. And if that has happened, how has that happened?
I have one more question to ask. Was that the only solution which you spoke, which you had given? Was that the only unique solution? Means unique answers what
See,
you have given?
That's the kind of question to ask. That's the kind of question to ask, that is that the only solution? Would you like to change a word? Let us say, would you like to change a word in, let us say, Hamlet's to be or not to be?
That is an English classic and I can't temper with Shakespeare's work.
Okay, would you rather temper with Keats?
No, not
No,
anymore.
the question is that this might be written by a good author. And therefore you do not temper.
Okay. But I can't exactly write what he has written. I
course.
can write what he meant to say.
Yes.
But
That's
I can't
why
exactly
I said
write.
it's a very intelligent question and we need to talk about it. Even if it's a Shakespeare passage, we need to talk about it. Okay? And we will talk about it. Anything else? Anything else you want to see about this passage? A lot of good, observations have.
Sir, I think given the fact that you are
Can
taking...
you
I'm
raise your
here.
hand? Yes, yes.
Given the fact that you are taking n and given the fact that you are taking ratios and asking us to make graphs, I think you are trying to take a general picture about the proficiency level of the teachers that are being sent there.
Very good. Okay. Okay. You see, I sort of know the proficiency levels. I could have, any one of you could have predicted this. What do you see from these numbers? Where is the concentration? Where is the concentration? If you take, there are some. How many of you know the normal distribution curve? How many of you? Yeah. What does it mean, the normal distribution curve? I don't want the mathematicians to answer. Huh? Yeah, no, what is the full meaning of a normal? It looks like a... Why? Huh? Sorry?
Most of the population lies at the center. And
Or close to the center.
Close to the center, and yeah.
Very
And
few will go this
to
side
this
and
side
very
and
few will
that
go this
side.
side, as you can see. So I don't have to do this, I know. I know that, if I do a normal distribution, I know that for all possible things, the population will be normally distributed.
Okay, I know there will be a bell-shaped curve, and you see a bell-shaped curve here. But anyway, that's a good point. That's a good point, that this is probably a good measure to test the proficiency levels of students. Yes, very good. Anything else? Comprehension, that she said in the beginning, that it's a reading comprehension, but then you have to explain to me, why is it a test of reading comprehension?
Reading materials will be provided or distributed there, which one has to read, and that will
No. This passage, why is this passage a test of reading comprehension?
Sir, can I answer that?
Yes.
Because unless we understand
Yes.
what we are reading,
Yes.
we won't know with what word to fill in the blank.
Right. Therefore, what is the importance of the instructions?
Read. It says read the passage twice before filling in the blanks.
Right. That is why this passage is a good example of reading comprehension. Okay. Anybody wants to add to this? Okay, it's already 5:45. Yes.
This exercise, I observe it not only as a tool for assessing individuals' comprehension. Besides that, this is one. Besides that, through this through such a tool, I
Be here definitely. 9:30. Pakka. Oh, okay. Good. Good. Too early for me because. Oh.